Morning guys, so today is the big day. I am leaving for New York. My mum came last night and yeah, it was okay, it was good. Layla was really happy to see her. I'll insert a little clip of her arriving here. Who's at the door? Can you go open it? Can you open it? Yeah, who is it? Oh.
Hallo. Ja, wir machen heute bitte. Ja, wir machen ja heute bitte ein Zimmer. Müssen wir gucken?
Yeah, so Layla was happy to see her and we're gonna hang out a little bit in the evening before Layla went to bed. I'll probably talk about this a little bit more later. I don't have a lot of time right now, but Layla's been going through quite a difficult phase recently and it's just made it that much harder to like prepare to leave. The last few days have been really difficult. Perry left for New York on Saturday afternoon, so I've been alone. It's just been me and Layla for the last few days until last night. So it was a very difficult few days. So I was emotionally very let's say not in a great place. So it was nice having my mum come last night and help out a little bit and seeing Layla be a little bit less difficult, I guess. Difficult's not the right word, but she's just going through I guess it's a difficult for her phase. Like I guess she's going through something, and yeah, she's not been sleeping particularly great at night and bedtimes have been difficult, but yeah, thankfully last night wasn't as bad. And this morning she woke up really happy, which is lovely. It was the first time she's woken up like actually genuinely happy and not grumpy and awake and like just with it and like her usual self in at least a week. It's been quite a while since she's woken up like that. She's also slept better. She had a really solid night's sleep last night. The past few nights she's woken up and like been awake for like half an hour to 45 minutes. Sometimes crying, but otherwise just kind of like whining a little bit, and that's been hard because I can't sleep when she's doing that, but I also can't go into her room because if I go into her room, that's it. Like there's no, she won't go back to sleep on her own. She'll have to come into bed with me, and then it's just neither of us sleep well when that happens. So anyway, I wasn't going to ramble, but all that to say, she's at nursery now. We dropped her off this morning. She was really happy when she got up this morning, and she was playing some games with my mum before we had to leave, and I'll insert that little clip here.
Cheers. Cheers. Oh. Josh. اسمي اسمه مزيج جوش. Yeah. Mommy. Layla. Layla.
But yeah, so drop off went really well. I reintroduced my mum to Layla's teachers and stuff, and all that's fine. I think it'll be okay. I'm feeling a little bit more okay with leaving now than I did yesterday. Yeah, so I finished packing my bags and all ready to go. Taxi should be coming to pick me up in the next 10-15 minutes, so I've got to get my stuff upstairs. And I've just cast on a new pair of socks. I've actually finished the baby socks for Layla, and I finished the other pair of socks I was knitting, which I showed on the podcast. So this is going to be my New York trip knitting, and I saved this skein specifically for this trip. It is by Dragonfly Fibers, and it was actually their special VKL colorway from a couple of years ago. It's the City That Never Sleeps colorway on the dragon sock. So it's 100% merino, but you guys know I don't mind having 100% merino socks, and it's quite a high twist, but I love the colours in this. It's a very sort of muted rainbow colour. It's a really beautiful sort of colour. And yeah, so I've literally just started the first cuff. So I have no socks on the needles for the flight, so I'm going to knit on that first cuff in the taxi on the way, I think. And yeah, hopefully have both cuffs done before I get on the plane. And then I only have one other project that I'm bringing with me, which is the hand spun shawl design that I'm working on. I'm already on to the 3rd colour out of 5, so that won't last me very long, I don't think. But that's in my main checked luggage. I'm not taking that onto the plane. So this is going to be my only project for the plane, which should be fine. I don't think I'm going to finish a whole pair of socks on the flight and everything, but we'll see. And then that's all I'm taking for projects. Actually, no, I lie. I'm taking one more sock project. I'm taking a sock blank with me. This is because I really don't think I need to take a whole lot of yarn. I know I'm getting yarn when I'm there. I know specifically that a couple of people are bringing me yarn for yarn support for future patterns and stuff, so I didn't want to. I know I'm going to be coming back with a fair amount of stuff, and I have some other stuff that I'm bringing back as well, which I'll explain more later. But so I wanted to leave as much room in my suitcase as possible, and I didn't want to take a whole bunch of yarn with me that I was just going to have to bring back, which seems a bit pointless, especially since I'm getting yarn. So I'll be able to cast on other projects whilst I'm in New York if I want to, because like I said, I'll be getting more yarn from Friday, so that's 2 days. Essentially, I just need to get through 2 days before before I get hold of new yarn, in which case I can cast on something else. So I'm pretty sure I'll be okay for 2 days. Hey buddy, I'm gonna miss you. My little fluffy. We're actually staying at the Sheraton in Times Square, which I didn't realise until the taxi pulled up in front of it that we stayed here before. We always seem to stay somewhere different every time we've been over, but when we weren't living here, obviously. but yeah, so been to this hotel before. We're on the 39th floor, so pretty high up. Got a semi-decent view out the window, which I'll show you in a second. But just wanted to quickly recap the journey. Journey was fine actually. Plane left pretty much on time, landed 20 minutes early, all great. I had a funny encounter with one of the ladies at check-in. She was asking me why I was coming to the US, the purpose of my trip. They always ask that. And I was saying I'm coming for like a knitting festival, like a fibre festival. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she sort of took a second and I was like, well, hang on, what? So explaining that to her. And then yeah, and then my seats got changed on the plane. I got on and I was trying to find my seat, and they ended up moving me to a better seat. I ended up being moved to a seat with more legroom, which would have cost like an extra 100 quid to book it, like if I was going to book that seat. And then I actually got the whole road to myself as well, so that was amazing. It wasn't a very busy flight, which was good. Everything else was fine. I even got to have a little nap for a couple of hours. I knit a lot on those socks. I'm past the heels now, so well on my way to a finished pair of socks soon. And yeah, and then we landed, like I said, 20 minutes early. Then oh, I had a couple of the air stewardesses commenting on my knitting as well whilst during the flight, which was fun. I even noticed one of the air stewardesses at the back when she was on her break doing some cross stitch, which I thought was quite cool. Anyway, I didn't stop and like talk to her about it because I didn't want to like bother her on her break, but anyway. And actually getting back to the hotel, getting through the airport and everything was really quick. I was quite surprised. We landed at like 5:45 p.m. local time, and I got here at 7:15. So actually that's really quick. An hour and a half from landing to actually being at the hotel is pretty unheard of. I don't think I've ever been through the airport and into the city that quickly. And on a weeknight evening, so like I guess I missed the bulk of rush hour, but still I would have expected a bit more traffic than there was. And then what else? Oh, getting into the hotel, that was interesting because Perry had made the booking, because obviously he was coming for work. The booking was only in his name, and the guy at reception wouldn't give me a key, even though Perry had told them that I was coming. Apparently it hadn't registered on their system, so they weren't going to give me a key. So hanging around there for a little bit until Perry was able to phone and like tell them to add me onto the room. And honestly, the guy was like, I was like this close to losing my cool with him. He was really starting to annoy me. But anyway, and Layla did fine, for anyone who's concerned. Layla did great, apparently. My mum went and picked her up from nursery. She was absolutely fine. She went to bed okay, and it was quite the relief to like get those messages when I landed, just to know that everything went okay and that she hadn't been difficult. And yeah, so that was good. Made me feel a bit more relieved. I think the thing is, like, I was totally fine leaving her with my mum, and I wasn't too anxious about it like initially, but like I said, because the last couple of weeks she's been going through this phase, and we've had these phases before where similar things have happened, but this time it's a little bit more intense because she is older, she's more aware of things, and she can just be a bit more stubborn. So like I said, we've had these phases before and they only ever last like 2 to 3 weeks, but so I was just concerned that it was going to be difficult while my mum was there, and that's really why I was anxious. I think that was the main reason for my anxiety. If she hadn't been going through this phase, yes, I still would have been like sad about leaving her behind and a little bit anxious about it, but not to the extent that I was leading up to this trip. I was on another level, like in terms of anxiety, and I think it was, and I feel like it was mainly because of that. Yeah, the last like 2-3 days have been very difficult. There was one point where I was just like, why am I doing this? Why am I coming? Why am I leaving her? But I know it's good for her, and I know it's good for me, and it'll be fine. And I think it is important that we were able to leave her for a few days with like our parents, like either my parents or Perry's parents. I think that is important that we're able to do that for us and for her, to like not like, anyway, I'm rambling now. I'm gonna go order some room service because I'm hungry. And that's the view out of our room. So down there all the bright lights are, and that's Times Square, and right around there with those, right around there behind those big billboard light thingies, is the hotel for the Vogue Knitting Life. Words. But yeah. Good morning. So today's Thursday. What day is it? The 24th? Is it the 24th today? Yeah, 24th. Yep. And we're up bright and early at 7 AM and we're gonna head out. I'm gonna accompany Perry down to his work office, and I'm gonna go grab some breakfast. And then he's gonna be off for the day, and I'm gonna be on my own for most of the day. I don't have plans until later this afternoon, but yeah, I'll take you guys along. Ready?
Ready to walk. Rock and roll.
take a minute, get myself a little bit sorted and situated, and then I will catch up with you guys. I'm sat here, I'm surrounded by my knitting projects. I'm about halfway through the foot on these socks now, so those shouldn't take much longer to finish up. I have my hand spun shawl that I'm working on, which I haven't actually shown you guys yet, so I'll show that to you later. And yeah, I picked up, you guys will have seen earlier, I popped into Michael's because I wanted to pick up some Patterns Croy socks, sock yarn, sorry, to make socks for my dad, because my dad in the last year has managed to blow through 3 pairs of socks. His feet are like sandpaper, which is something my mum said, and it's probably pretty true. He's very hard wearing on his socks and he wears them a lot, so and he doesn't have as many as my mum has, so he's definitely wearing through them a lot quicker than I was expecting. So all that boils down to, oops, sorry, let's cut my head off. What that boils down to is I'm going to try and avoid knitting him socks out of merino based yarns, just because I feel like he wears them a lot harder, he wears his socks a lot harder than like I do or my mum does, so he's wearing through them a lot quicker. So going forward, just plain wool blends or like BFL or harder wearing wool combinations, as it were. So Patterns Croy is actually a thicker yarn as well, so it's more of a sport weight than a fingering weight, so there's that too. And it's 75% wool, 25% nylon, so it's got a good nylon content as well. And then I also picked up one skein of Lion Brand Yarns Sockies. So this is 100 gram ball. And I only picked up this one because this was the only one that was a colour that I thought my dad would like and would wear. The others were a little bit, they didn't look particularly nice. So, so yeah, so I went for this one. And for anyone wondering, it is the toffee colourway. So yeah, so I got one of these, and then I got 2 of this one, which is in the grey brown marl. I got 2 in the FX of the clover colourway, clover colours. Actually, all of these Patterns Croy colours I've knit with before. And I also got blue stripe rag, which I've also knit before. And I also got 2 of, is it 2 did I get off? Yeah, I think I only got 2 of these as well. In the Gentry grey, it's more like a charcoaly colour to use for toes and probably, sorry, heels and toes, and maybe even some cuffs on my dad's socks because he likes them quite long. And like I said, these are, because they're sport weight, there's only 150 metres or about 166 yards and 50 grams, so it might not be enough with just 2 balls for him because he likes long legs on his socks. And Michael's had a deal on all their yarn at the moment is on sale, buy 2 get 1 free. So I got 9 balls of yarn for the price of 6 balls. So I thought that was pretty good. Alright, I'm going to relax, watch some stuff on my computer and knit for a little bit. I'll catch up with you guys a bit later. Oh, is that yummy, yummy milk? Yeah. Alright, so I thought I'd show you guys the shawl that I'm working on. It is looking super crumpled right now because it's been stuffed in the project bag for the last couple of days until now. And I was actually just at this, I'll just finish this eyelet row when I picked up today, and I've just knit this little bit this afternoon. And I'm ready to transition in the next colour, which, let me just grab it, is this sort of rusty orange colour. The lighting in this room is horrendous. So that's the next one that's coming in. So I'm just heading into the next transition section like that there. I've just kind of been experimenting and playing around with this shawl as I've been working on it and keeping notes on what I'm doing. So this is going to be very much like a choose your own sort of recipe thing. So after this colour, which is next, I have one more and then it is finished. And the best thing about this is you do get to use up almost all of the yarn as you're going along. I only have like the tiniest amounts left of this colour and this colour at the moment. So that's all I've got left. I think there's like 1.5 grams of this colour and probably about 1 gram or less of this one, which is the first colour. So really not a lot left over at the end, which is nice. So I've been thinking about this for the last hour or so while I've been working on this shawl, but and I've had a lot of comments from people saying that they'd like to see me design more with handspun, and like publish more patterns with handspun in mind and stuff like that. And my question to you in response to your comments is, how does that look to you? Can you maybe let me know what you are looking for from a pattern that you are I want to design things that you guys are interested in, as well as things that I would like for myself, because that's kind of why I started designing. But if when someone says to me, oh, I'd like to see more designs for handspun, I'm like, okay, great, but what does that mean to you? Like, what do you classify a design suitable for handspun, or what would you be looking for to think to yourself, oh, I can use handspun for that? Like, I just want an understanding of what you guys are looking for, because I personally feel like several of the designs that I already have published would actually work really great for handspun, and I've seen people knit handspun versions of them, and I think that they work really great. But at the same time, I appreciate that some designs do not lend themselves to handspun very easily. And is it merely a case of making a note of, if you are using handspun, maybe you need to take these things into consideration, or maybe you might need to make some modifications, and how to do that? Or do you want to see a sample knit out of handspun? Like, I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to how you would classify a design for handspun. Or if you were browsing on Ravelry, do you want it to be like a tag on the project, or a note somewhere on the pattern page to let you know that this design can be knit with handspun fairly easily, or anything like that? Like, I just want to know, so I can try and incorporate that a little bit more into my design work, because like I said, I would love to publish more designs that are good for handspun as well as other yarns. So yeah, I'd look forward to hearing your thoughts on that. So please do let me know down below in the comments, or you can always send me a message on Ravelry or to my email. And yeah, I guess I'll catch up with you guys a bit later. Right, I'm all bundled up again because I'm heading back out. I now have to head over to the Marriott Marquee, which is where Vogue Knitting Live is being held. I am attending the teachers meeting this afternoon at 5:30, so that's going to take about an hour. And then there's some sort of like teachers mixer event thing after that for about another hour, and then I'm heading out to Greenpoint in Brooklyn to meet up with some knitting friends for dinner. I'm going to be a little bit late because they're all getting together at 7:30, and I finish up at 7:30, so I'm going to be there a little bit late, but should be good nonetheless. I'm really looking forward to seeing them, and I'm hoping to pick up a small coffee on my way over, because it is, what time is it now? It's 4:30, so I have an hour, so loads of time, because it's only like 6 blocks down the road. I'll grab a coffee because it's 4:30, which is like 9:30 back home, and I'm really starting to feel really tired. So just something to perk me up a little bit to get through the next few hours, and then yeah, and like I really need to sort out this jet lag thing, because Saturday my last class finishes at 8:30 p.m, so I really need to be awake for that. And yeah, all right, I will catch up with you guys soon. I'm perpetually afraid of being late to anything and everything, so I'm now here 40 minutes early. That's fine. I'm gonna go upstairs and find somewhere to perch and have a bit of my coffee before I have to come back to the meeting room. Right, so I just finished up at the Marriott Marquee, and the teachers meeting went really well. It was super intimidating. I never get like starstruck or anything like that with sweet and crazy hair. But just being in a room full of so many amazing knitters and amazing teachers, complete imposter syndrome, really felt like completely out of my league in that room. But it was amazing. Everyone was really lovely, everyone I spoke to, and then we had the mixer afterwards, which was really lovely. Got a couple of goodie bags, which I need to rifle through later. It's super windy, so you might not even be able to hear me. I'm gonna go now. Morning guys, it is Friday the 25th, first day of Vogue, although it's still far too early for that. Perry's getting ready to go to work, so I'm going to walk with him to go grab a coffee and then I'll be back. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi guys, sorry about any shaking. I'm having to balance the camera on top of my little hand luggage case, my laptop and then a box. So it's a little bit wonky, we're on the bed. So yeah, bear with me. I wanted to have a little chat with you guys. I haven't really been able to talk to you guys too much in the last day or so. Just been out and about and stuff, and I'm still feeling a little bit rusty with the whole vlogging thing, and I've never been super comfortable talking to the camera when I'm out and about in public. So anyway, I did actually get a couple of goodie bags yesterday at the events. So there was one from the teachers meeting and one from Blue Sky Fibers afterwards. So I'll show you guys what they gave us there. And I finished a pair of socks. Oh, dropped some. Finished these socks. So these were the ones I'd started on Wednesday in the taxi on the way to the airport. I'd knit the whole leg and I'd gotten past the heel. I'd gotten to maybe like a few rows past the heel by the time the flight landed, and then I knit most of the foot yesterday. I got to just the start of the toe decreases before I got back to the hotel, and then just now I finished the toes. So I would have actually finished these yesterday. I was knitting on them, and then I realised if I keep knitting on them, I'm not going to have anything to knit on in the evening when I went out for dinner. So I put them aside. Otherwise these probably would have been finished yesterday if I'd kept going on it. But yeah, so these are now done, and yeah. So I don't know if I actually mentioned it. I've used the London Bee Ridge pattern on the socks, the little ridges there, and so on the bottom here you'll be able to see better what the colourway looks like in stockinette. So this was by Dragonfly Fibers, and the Dragon Sock Base in the City That Never Sleeps colourway, which was an exclusive Vogue Knitting Live colourway from 2-3 years ago. I think it might have even been from my very first Vogue, 2016, so 3 years ago potentially. I can't believe this will be my 4th year going to Vogue Knitting Live. It's really quite exciting. And yeah, so that was that. So other than the stuff in the goodie bags, I do have a couple of other things that I'd already purchased before we came over to New York. We had one of our credit cards that were cancelling. We had a bunch of points on it that we needed to use. So we converted it into Amazon credit. So Perry and I got a bunch of stuff from Amazon, and I got a few knitting related things. So I was like, we needed to spend the points on something. So I thought I'd get things that I wanted to get but didn't necessarily need to get. Just, they were like little splurges, I guess, because, well, sorry about the shaking camera. I'm really sorry. I don't have a better setup right now. I didn't bring my little tripod, which I wish I had now. The first thing I got, because mine was broken, although it's still usable and I'll probably keep using it as well, but I've kind of wanted to get one of these anyway. and that was a jumbo ball winder. And this is like more heavy duty than the one that I've got at the moment. So I can get this open. There we go. So that's the, put it all together. And this attaches somewhere as well. I need to figure it out. It goes, I think it goes here, but that's what it will look like. And so this takes like, this can wind larger hanks, which I like, and also the clamp bit is deeper, so it can go onto a deeper table, like a wider tabletop. At the moment, my other one, I can only clamp it to our dining table because it's the only surface that's not too deep. Yeah, I think this goes around here like that. I have to tighten it up, but I'm going to give this a little test because I need to, one of the skeins of yarn that I picked up from Michael's yesterday, the Lion brand sockies, is a 100-gram ball. So I'm going to split it into two 50-gram cakes. I'm going to test out the ball winder and see how that works, because I don't have socks in the needles, so I thought I might as well cast on another pair. So that was one thing I got. I got a pack of these faux fur pom-poms, which have the, that are what's it, they snap on, that's why they have snaps. So let me show you what they look like. They're not too big, which is good, but they're big enough, I think. Little fluffy pom-pom, and they're really soft. I was surprised. I was expecting these to not be that great, to be honest, but they've got these little, they've got the snaps on it, which makes them great for hats. And so I got a pack of 16. If you're interested, I'll, again, if I remember, I'll leave a link to these below, and if I forget and you want the link, let me know and I'll add it, because there's a good chance I'll forget to do this. So there's 16 in the pack, and there's a variety of different colours. There's some black ones, some white ones, some sort of like browny tan ones, and then these grey ones. So I think there's like 4 of each in there. So I thought that was quite fun, and a good thing, especially for gifts as well, because the people could take the pom-poms off before washing their hats if they wanted to. I got this, which has been on my list of books to get for a while now, and I just hadn't got around to it, so happy to have this in my knitting library, as it were. I have quite a few stitch dictionaries, so it's always nice to add new ones. And the last thing, which was always been something that I wanted to get, but I could never justify buying because I have enough needles. But since this was essentially free money because there were points and it didn't cost me anything extra, I thought, why not splurge or treat myself? I got a set Chiagoos, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, interchangeable needles, and I got the full set. So I've got both the small sizes and the large sizes. I like this because I don't actually have these large size needles in an interchangeable set that are metal. I have some larger size needles in like wooden tips, but I really like metal needles for me and my style of knitting. So it's nice to have the bigger ones as well. And they come with the cords and everything and a bunch of accessories, so I can show you all the bits it comes with. So it comes with 2 sets of cords because the different needles have different attachments. So the larger sizes have a different attachment to the cord like ends than the smaller ones. I think the higher are the same as well. So I've got 2 sets of cords. I got like stoppers, a bunch of markers, and then needle gauge as well. That all came with it as part of the set. And I really like the case for it. The pouch is really nice as well and compact. So those are the things that I got off Amazon that were waiting for us. What we got here. I ordered a couple of other bits as well, but these were the most relevant ones to show you. And then as for the goodie bags that we got yesterday, which were really, really generous. The one from the teachers meeting, I kind of put everything into one bag, was one of these beautiful bags. It's the Namaste knitting bag. This is that. It's a little pocket on the back. I don't think there was anything in it, just making sure, yeah. And I think this was in, I've put the box away, but I think it was like the plum colour. And it's got a little handle on the top, so you can hold it like that. Then it unzips. just take this stuff out from inside. Show it to you properly. It's a needle case. So you've got pockets here to put like tips in, or DPNs, or whatever you want. And then you've got these pouches in the middle where you can insert your circular needles or cables and stuff. And then it also came with a sheet of stickers with different sizes, so you can label the pockets for different needle sizes. And it also came with a bunch of tapestry needles. Oh, there we go. It's the portfolio bag in Plum by Knit Namaste. And that's knitnamaste.com. So again, I'll try and remember to link that for anyone who's interested. I think it was provided by Jimmy Beans Wool. There's a little Jimmy Beans pamphlet in there. We also got this little notebook from Rowan, which is actually really good because it's like a knitting notebook. So you've got a grid on one side and then a lined paper on the other. Always need a good notebook. And there's another sort of dot grid notebook from Knit Namaste. And then finally from Prim, we were given a set of ergonomic needles. So these are 5mm needles. And you can see they've got like this slightly rounded tips. So I've seen these before. They've got the triangular body and then these like rounded bulb tips. So I'm really interested to see how these knit up. I've seen them before and I was very tempted to buy them actually. So I'm really kind of glad we were given them to try out. I'm looking forward to giving these a go as well. So I just kind of like shoved all those into this bag for now. So yeah, that was a really lovely gift, and actually I need a good sort of storage case for my needles, so this will be perfect to try out and see how it works. And it's really lovely quality. So I don't know how much they are, but if you're looking for something that's good quality and feels nice, I'd say this is probably not too bad. And then from Blue Sky Fibres, they gave us goodie bags as well for their event, which I was surprised about. There's a few, I guess, like lookbooks. They're not pattern books, but like lookbooks of their patterns and stuff in here. They also gave us 3 skeins of yarn, which I thought was incredibly generous. These lovely natural colours. So there's a skein of, I didn't know this until yesterday actually, but Blue Sky Fibres are also, they also produce Spud and Chloe yarns. So there's a skein of Spud and Chloe Fine, which is 65 grams. It's a sock yarn, 80% wool, 20% silk. 248 yards in 65 grams. So there's that. So I've got a colourway. Colour 7827. There's no colourway name on it. Yeah, so it's just this nice sort of like taupey brown sort of colour. Then there's a skein of their organic cotton worsted. So it's 100 grams, 150 yards, and the colour is Drift. This is beautiful, like soft white. It feels like a cloud. It is so soft. I've not worked with a lot of cotton yarn myself, but this feels really beautiful. It's certified organic cotton as well, so it's really soft. I'm not sure what this will be. And then finally, I think this is like one of the most luxurious things. This is a 50 gram skein, 164 yards of their Eco Cashmere. It's a DK weight. It's 50% recycled cashmere and 50% virgin cashmere, and it's in the black rose colourway. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not showing up quite as nuanced as it is on screen, but it just looks a bit black on screen, but it's very sort of like a heathered colour. Get that to show up. There we go. That's much, you can see that better there. It's a very sort of heathered, really dark brown sort of colour, which is beautiful, and it's so soft as well. So yeah, that's the yarn we were given. I might use some of these for a giveaway, I think. Haven't quite decided what they will be, but I'll make decisions about that later. So I'm ready to head out the door again. I'm going to head over to the Marriott Marquee. I need to get my name badge. and then I have a bunch of samples that I need to drop off at a couple of different booths, so hopefully I can sneak into the market a little bit early and drop these off. If not, it's fine, I'll wait till 5 and then I'll drop it off. And then my friend Sam, who I'm waiting for to catch up with, I think her flight's been delayed a little bit, so I'll just hang out in the lobby at the hotel, grab a coffee or something, and hope she gets there not too late after she was supposed to arrive. We'll see. But yeah, got my badge.
Behind the scenes.
Look what I found. She made it. I did. Finally.
I know.
You weren't too badly delayed, thankfully.
No, like an hour, but
yeah.
You're like that kid from the Christmas Story. I can't get down my eyes.
From South
But you know,
Almost midnight, made it back to the hotel. So tired, but so happy. It was such a lovely day, and yeah. Right, so I made it back to our room, and I have a lot of bags of stuff. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it at that for tonight. I think I'm gonna knit for a little bit, sit and knit for a little bit. There we go, right way around. We had a lovely dinner. Kelsey of Primrose Yarn Company organised for us all to go out for dinner tonight, but we hadn't decided where to go, and in the end I found a restaurant because we ended up going back to the apartment where she and the rest of her team are staying, and we were all hungry. It was almost 9 PM and we were all absolutely starving, and I ended up finding an Italian restaurant that was literally just across the road from where we were, so we thought, hey, let's just go there. So we show up, we walk in and suddenly realise this is a super fancy restaurant, and we were all totally underdressed, looking like we look now, completely dishevelled at the end of the day. And it was kind of funny, but it was good. It was quite a big group of us. There was 9 of us in the end, and Eric from 6 Plus Twine and Sandy from Sandy by the Lakeside came by as well and joined us for dinner with their other halves. And yeah, it was just nice. It was a nice evening. Got to catch up. Got to really get to chat with people, and yeah, it was just a really lovely day, lovely evening. Really enjoyed meeting so many people today, and I'm looking forward to doing it all again tomorrow. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Good morning. It is Saturday, the 26th of January. It is cold. It is really cold this morning. But yeah, so I'm headed out to get a coffee and then head to the marquee. The marketplace is open, and I'm hanging out at the Primrose booth for the next couple of hours. So yeah. So just finished one class and heading to the next. Perry brought me a coffee, and he's taking some yarn back to the hotel for me, so let's do this. It's not going great when you get into the classroom and realise you left the handouts in the previous classroom, which is on 2 different floors, so running back to get the handouts now. So I just finished my last class of the day. It went so well, it was so exciting. Just both classes went so well, and I was so happy with how it all turned out. Everyone in both classes seemed to have learnt a lot from it. They took away a lot from it, and yeah, got a lot of positive feedback, so that's great. And yeah, so now I'm just heading out to meet up with the rest of the yarn coven for some dinner, because I finished earlier than I expected. I realised I forgot to give everyone a bit of a break in the last class, and just powered straight through the material, and we ended up finishing about 45 minutes early. So I think everyone was pretty happy to be done early as well, because it's getting quite late and it's been a long day for most people. So I'm off to see everyone else for dinner. Morning guys, it is Sunday the 27th, I think. Yeah, Sunday 27th of January, and I'm packing my bags because we're actually changing hotels today. Perry's staying for the next few days till the end of the week, but I'm heading back home tomorrow, but he needs to be downtown for the rest of the week for work, so we're changing hotels, because he actually originally picked this hotel to be closer to Times Square for me when I came over. So now he's got to go downtown, and yeah, so one night, or just for me anyways, one night changing hotels, but he's here for a few more days. So I'm packing my bags, and I'm trying to pack so it's all ready to go for when I want to travel, and then just add in the last little bits tonight, tomorrow morning, before I have to leave. So yeah, let's pack. I have all of that stuff to fit into a suitcase, although we do have an extra suitcase between us to fill up, so I should be fine. Right, so Perry's run out to get some coffee this morning, and I'm just getting, like I said, packing my bags. And I just thought I'd show you what I've done. I've used these space bags to pack all the yarn. So yeah, I got some space bags before we left, for just not only for this trip, but for storage in general back home with all the stuff that we've had arrive. I just bought all the yarn that I've bought or received as gifts over the weekend into these space bags. And the best thing about these ones is that they came with a hand pump, so you don't need a vacuum. So I squeezed out as much as I could by hand to begin with, because it just saves some time, and then using the hand pump got the rest of the air out. The only thing I didn't put in there were the 2 loop bumps that I got
to stop them from getting super squished. So those will be packed separately, but otherwise everything else is in here.
Alright, time to pack the rest of my stuff. Well, I'm all packed, ready to go. Perry's going to be sorting out moving us to the other hotel. I'm off to meet with Jacqueline, Julie and Stacey for some breakfast this morning, so that'll be nice. And yeah, so let's go.
Not you two. Oh, hello there. What are you knitting on?
The white horse sweater. It's almost done.
Yay!
I'm knitting on Carlisle mittens for my boyfriend.
Aw, fun. There we go. New pair of socks. Because when am I not knitting socks? What do you... Oh, yay! Oh, let's see. Squidgy. So good.
Made it back to the last day at Vogue, so let's do this. Morning guys, I actually forgot to close out the vlog yesterday, but yeah, so we went out for dinner last night and then got back to the hotel and I just crashed. I was asleep before 10 PM. I was so tired. I think my body was just like, after all the excitement and anticipation, I was just like crashing. So it was just good actually because I needed to get sleep, because it's now 4:45 AM and I'm waiting for my taxi to the airport. So here we go, going home now.
Teddy. No. Look who's here, Layla.
Hello.
Mommy.
Hi.
Yeah. Por baixo. Você busca.
Hi.
Você vê as tutoriais. Good. Você mommy. Você mommy. Oh, por que você não fica? Mommy.
Hi.
Oh.
Can I have a kiss? Thank you, honey. Yeah.
Yes.
What are we doing now? Can you come give me a cuddle?
Layla. You miss Mommy. Here's your Mommy. Who's a happy girl? Hey, John. Huh? Yes.
Come here. Oh. I missed you so much.
Give Mommy a kiss. Give Mommy a kiss. Oh, sure.
Hey guys, so it is now Tuesday, the 29th of January. Oh jeez, this last week has just flown by. I've just gotten back from dropping off Layla at nursery and dropping my mum off at the train station so she can go back to London. She's working today, so she's got to go into the office. And yeah, it's just been, I realised I hadn't signed off last night, so I thought I would do a final little check-in before I sign off, and just say thank you to everyone for making this weekend, this past few days, amazing, absolutely amazing. Everyone I met, everyone who took a chance on me and took a class, everyone who is just so supportive, and even if you just came up to me and said a couple of nice things, or even just said hello, I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, weekends like this just remind me what this community is really all about. And yeah, this is not actually the end of the vlog. I still want to do the haul section for the end, but I will sit down and film that later and just add it on to the end of this video. And then yeah, hopefully I'll have this vlog edited, if not today, then hopefully by tomorrow maybe. Hey guys, so I'm here now to just do the haul section of this vlog, and yeah, it's quite a bit to go through, so let's do this quickly, shall we? First off, actually, I wanted to quickly show you where I got to on the knitting I was doing on the way home. So I showed you, I think I showed last night before I went to bed, how far I'd got. So it's how far I am now. I've only done like another 10 rows or so, so I'm a little over halfway down the foot on these socks now. Yeah, so that's where we're at. These are going to be for my dad, probably, well, not probably, they are, to test out the theory of whether or not just going with non-merino yarns for him will help his socks last longer. Derek is wandering around, so you may or may not see him. Let's see if I can show you. There he is. I'll put it like that and then, ooh. Not interested today. Okay, so I'll start with the stuff that's not in bags. Or they are in bags, they're just not in the space bags. So I have these two beautiful bumps of fibre from Loop Fibre Studios. The lovely Stephanie, who is the, I guess, dyer and creator. There we go, that's better. It's blowing out a bit there. This one is absolutely beautiful. And this is in the After the Rain colourway. It's about 5 ounces of merino, angelina and nylon. So that'll be fun to see how that spins up. We love this like purpley fuchsia colour on the other side. And I also got a bump. This one is just all merino. It's 5.2 ounces and it's in the Black Orchid colour. I'll show you this one as well. There you go. Again, absolutely stunning. And Stephanie was incredibly generous, and she actually gifted me these two bumps rather. So that was incredibly kind of her. She didn't need to do that. But yeah, so thank you so much, Stephanie, for that. I look forward to getting these on the wheel at some point soon, hopefully. I actually carried these back in my hand luggage because I was worried about them getting too squished in my suitcase. And then the other two skeins that didn't make it into the space bags were these two, mainly because I got them on the last day and I'd already packed my suitcase for the most part. So on Sunday, I was very fortunate to actually bump into the lovely Tristan and Christine from Dragon Hoard Yarn and Yarn Cafe Creations, respectively. And they actually both last minute joined in my class on Sunday, which was really, really fun to have them join in. But when I first bumped into them in the marketplace, they both very kindly gifted me a skein of yarn each. So Tristan gifted me this skein of her beautiful yarn in the Come Alive colourway, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's like a bluish grey base with just all the speckles, all the fun speckles on that. And this is fingering weight. It's a Superwash Merino nylon, 75/25. Pretty good sturdy sock blend. And then Christine was really sweet and gifted me this skein of yarn in the Roasted Pumpkin colourway. This is also a 75/25 merino nylon blend, but it's a DK weight, and this is 245 yards, sorry. And this is beautiful, rich, sort of pumpkin-y colour. And I know they're different weights of yarn, but I actually quite like them together because there's similar sort of like orangey yellows in this skein as well. So there's some ideas there. Right, start with this bag. I'm only going to go over the things I haven't shown you already. So I'm not going to talk about these pom-poms again because I've already mentioned them once. But this bag's actually all from Green Mountain Spinnery. First up, I got these two beautiful skeins of yarn. So this is the Sock Art Lana base. It's a 2-ply sock weight, 100% fine wool, 400 yards or 366 meters. And so I got one in the Noche colorway, 8955, and one in the Platida 9095. I have no idea how you pronounce that word. So apologies for butchering that. I think it's Platida, and this one is Noche. This is beautiful, like teal blue. And because it's a 2-ply and it is a fine wool, because this yarn is probably a little bit too delicate to be used for socks on its own, I'm thinking of doing something colour work with them. But yeah, so we will see what this will grow up to become. And the other thing I picked up from Green Mountain Spinnery, I should say the yarn from Green Mountain Spinnery, all of it was given to me as yarn support. So I was also given, quite generously, 10 skeins of their music base, which is a DK weight. It's a 2-ounce skein, so 58 grams, 180 yards or 165 meters, and it's 100% fine American wool. And I got 10 skeins in the Brick House colorway, which is the number 9000. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So they're all the same colorways. This beautiful, like heathered, deep dark red is showing a bit brighter on screen right now, but it is a nice, really rich red. That's a bit better. So this is going to become a sweater of some kind at some point. I already have ideas of what it's going to become. I used this yarn for the Yorkville hat out of the New York hat collection of hats. So yeah, I'm thinking of a lovely textured either pullover or cardigan out of that yarn. So stay tuned for those details. Okay, next up we'll do this bag. Again, this is mostly all from one dyer. Goodness. These first 3 skeins were from the Goodie bag, gift bag from Blue Sky Fibers. So I already talked about those. But what I have in here are some beautiful, beautiful yarns from Primrose Yarn Company. I'm not gonna pull absolutely everything out, but I'll pull one of each so I can show you. First up, I picked up this skein of Embers on the Sophia base, which is a 3-ply fingering, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 414 yards in 100 grams. There we go. Beautiful speckles. And I actually already have 2 other skeins of this base from Kelsey, who's the dyer behind Primrose Young Company, and so I got this to go with those other 2 skeins for a design of some kind at some point. There we go. These speckles are just beautiful. I absolutely love this colorway. And then I picked up a sweater quantity of her Absinthe colorway on her Tweed DK. Again, I should mention most of this, well, actually all of this from Primrose was also yarn support. Kelsey's always been super generous with her support of my designs. I absolutely love this colorway. And I haven't, when I first saw her bring a DK tweed base to her shop, I was like, yes, that will have to become something. I had an idea. So this is going to be the main color for the majority, and I'm thinking it's going to be like a cardigan, like a coat cardigan type. And then this is going to be as a contrast color for like the edgings, like the ribbing and stuff. And this is in her Bramble colorway. Absolutely stunning on tweed. I really love it. So there's those for that. And then the last thing I picked up was on her Marquess MCN DK. Oh, thank you, Derek. I've got the camera balanced on the cat tree, so you just come up to scratch his claws and shook the camera. That's okay. Oh, now he's going up the tree. Alright, so the last thing I picked up from there was these 2 skeins, and actually I have 3 of each colour to do something with, and I'm thinking something brioche, potentially, out of these 2. So this is her Poppy colourway, and I was absolutely obsessed with this colour at her booth. Honestly, I was walking up and down her booth, and every time, like because she had her booth set up with the different weights of yarn in like their own areas, and every time I got to each area, so he just like knocked the camera with his tail. Every time I got to each area, I was just gravitating towards this skein. I'd pick it up, I'm like, oh, it's the Poppy colorway, of course it is. So I was like, I knew I had to do something with it, and I thought on its own it's just a little bit too crazy a color on its own. As much as I love it, I wasn't sure what I would do with it that would be something I would want to wear on its own. But I was looking at other colors that I could contrast with it. I first looked at like Snow Owl, which is like a neutral, like beigey color, and then I looked at like a darker gray that both look really beautiful with it. But then I picked up a skein of Highlands, which is this color, and I was like, it is absolutely perfect because it's got some of the same sort of like blue-green tones in the Poppy as well. So I think these 2 are going to go really beautifully together. And I actually even got complimented by Stephen West on my colour choice for this one. So he spotted my bag of stuff, and when I was waiting to go into a classroom, he was coming out of it. And yeah, so there was that. So that's what I got from Primrose. Like I said, the majority of the stuff I got at VKL this year was yarn support, mainly because it's easier. Like I have conversations with dyers and stuff about collaborations and things throughout the year, but then if I know I'm going to be at an event and they're going to be vending, then usually it's a case of we'll just come by the booth and we'll sort something out. It's easier for me to pick colours in person, because then I can see what the colours are, and I can see how they work together if I want to like put colours together. And it also saves them shipping, which is why I usually end up coming back from these sorts of events with lots of stuff, because at least in the last year or so, because most of it is yarn support, and then it just, like I said, it saves people shipping to me as well if I'm gonna go to them. And the last bag is a bit of a mishmash of a bunch of different things, so I'm just gonna open this up and dive right in. I'm not going to talk about the patterns Corey because I've already mentioned that. So let's get those out of the way. Okay. I stopped by the booth for Eternity Ranch Knits, and again, this was one where I've been chatting to Tammy, who's the dyer behind Eternity Ranch Knits, and she asked if I wanted to work with her on a collaboration later this year, and I said absolutely. And she said, well, just swing by the booth and see what yarn you want to use for the collaboration. So I said great, so that's what I did, and I picked this. So this is the Shroom colorway. It's a 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, and 10% tencel, 433 yards, and it's this beautiful sort of like, I guess mauvey colour, mauvey purple. It's quite like a dusty purple colour, which is really beautiful. And then I bought this braid of fibre from her because it's really beautiful red. It's called Bleeding Heart, and it's a Polworth silk blend, which is not a blend I've worked with before. It feels so soft and really squishy, and it's 4 ounces. So I was excited to try this out. There weren't that many people selling fibre at Vogue, which was a shame, but I can understand why, because it's more of a knitting event. So this was the only other fibre I got other than the 2 loop bumps. So, but I was very happy with the ones I did get. Yeah. I just got fuzz in my mouth. Then I went to the Barnyard Knits booth, and Kim is really lovely, and it was lovely to finally get to meet her and her husband in real life. She'd actually earlier last year sent me some skeins of yarn to use for a garment design, and I wanted to pick a colour to use for like a contrast with it, and so I actually picked out this colour. This is her Jewel colourway, which I absolutely loved it. And so what I'm planning on doing is the majority of the pullover is going to be in the other colour that I have, which is granite, really beautiful neutral, and then this is just going to be faded in at the end as like, it's almost like the sweater's been like dip dyed at the bottom into another colour. So that's kind of the effect I'm going for. So I'm excited to get that started. I need to actually skein up one of the ball up one of the skeins, that's the word, ball up one of the skeins, and swatch out some ideas on how I want that to look, and then get going with that, because that's going to be fun. And then I bought this skein of yarn from Kim in the Campfire colourway. Both of these are on her sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards and 100 grams. And I got this to reknit that pair of socks for my brother that turned out to be not the right size. So I couldn't find exactly the same colour as that, but I really love the neutrality of this skein. But like, the thing that Kim does really well is really beautiful neutrals with amazing speckling. So a lot of her colorways can look very similar, but then the speckles like completely change it. And her Vogue special colorway was really stunning as well, and I'm actually kind of kicking myself now for not having gotten a skein of that as well while I was at it. I think I'd meant to go back to get one, and then things happened and I got distracted and I completely forgot to go back. But yeah, so I'm kind of kicking myself over that one. But then Cat Sandwich Fibres was also at Vogue this year, which was, I think it was the first time she was there. So it was really lovely to finally get to meet MJ in person, and I couldn't help myself, but I picked up, I bought 2 of her skeins for socks. So this one is both are on her sock base, so yeah, 75-25, normal regular blend. And so this is the Evergreen Forest colorway. Look how beautiful that is. This one will probably micro stripe based on how this looks in the skein. Absolutely stunning. Again, her speckles are beautiful. And then this is so it's on her Trusty sock base. Sorry, both of them, Trusty sock. And this one is from her Sesame Street range of dark colours. And so this one's called Cookies, or the Cookie Monster, I imagine. And that is just like a perfect, just look at that orange there, it's beautiful. It's like a perfect representation of the Cookie Monster in a skein of yarn. So yeah, so these were actually the only 3 skeins of yarn I purchased at Vogue. I joke because I get so much as yarn support for designs and stuff. The only thing I ever actually yarn wise need to add to my stash are single skeins of sock yarn. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm that one person at a fibre event actually looking to add single skeins of sock yarn to their stash, compared to everyone else who's trying not to buy single skeins of sock yarn. Alright, so the other thing that I got from Luke Fibre Studio, she gifted me the fibre, but I also got some yarn support from her for another design idea. So she does these yin yang skeins of yarn where they're opposites, so they kind of have like this one will have 3 plies of the cream, 1 ply of the yellow, and this one has 3 plies of the yellow, 1 of the cream, so they kind of work in opposites with each other. And I designed my far and wide shawl using the blue sets of those colours. I actually used 2 sets because they're in pairs, but then she had the blues. She had 2 pairs that actually worked really well together, and then off the basis of that she's actually now expanded the colours in her yin yang set, so she now has more where they work as sets of 4s. So what I did was I picked up these 2 sets to work together. Let me just put them in the right order. There we go. So we've got this set and then this one. So these 2 are this one is I'll Get You My Pretty, Your Little Dog Too. And then these 2, if I get them up the right way round, this one is Lions and Tigers, and this one is Bears Oh My. Those are the colourway names, and I kind of feel like they go well together in this order. And then she had a series which was a set of which were more solids, like more tonal. So this was in her more tonal set, and this one is called Folkology, which I just love the name. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that would work quite well in the middle as like a transition. You see where this is headed. And then I picked up a more solid, again from the tonals. This is A Hard Place, like the more sort of like grey black colour. So I'm not thinking, I already know this is what this is going to be. This is going to be a pullover, I think, or maybe even a cardigan. I haven't fully decided on the construction yet, but it's going to be a garment of some kind. And yeah, I'm really excited with how this is going to turn out. And it's worsted weight, in case anyone was unsure. I have a second skein of the Folkology, just in case I needed more yardage than I have out of the 6 skeins, because I think for a worsted weight sweater for my size, depending how long it's going to be, I need in the region of 6 to 7 skeins of yeah, these are 220 yards. 6 to 7 skeins is about right. So I didn't want to be running short, and I'd rather, I think, if I'm gonna have more of one colour, it should be like the more solid tonal there in the middle. So I'm struggling to hold all of this, but I'm really excited to get this going at some point, because I already have an idea. I know exactly what stitch pattern I want to use for this. This will probably be on the needles fairly soon, because it's the most thought through in terms of the design so far, because I already had an idea as soon as I saw this. And also the brick house from Green Mountain Spinnery, that one will probably be on the needles soon as well. And they're both heavier weight garments, so they'll knit up quite quickly. Actually, what will be on the needles next is what I'm going to show you next. So Sam from Lavender Loon Yarn Company was also at Vogue this year. She was vending as part of the Stephen B booth. And we discussed before about doing a collaboration on some designs that I've actually already knit up an initial iteration of, but they've been gifted. And I've written up the pattern, they're all ready to go. I just need to knit up actual samples for the design, for the pattern, because I've modified the designs based off of that first iteration. Anyway, all that to say, these are the, you know what, let's pick them out so you can see them better. These 3 skeins, and so this is a new base for her. I'm not sure how long she's had it now, but it's a BFL non-superwash DK weight, so it's 246 yards in 100 grams, and these are just absolutely stunning. So we have Fern, then we have Heliotrope, I absolutely love this purple, and we have Cognac. Absolutely beautiful. So my brief to her essentially in terms of colours was really lovely saturated jewel tones, and yeah, she did really well. I think what I said to her was emerald green, like an amethyst purple, and like an amber yellow. So I think she did pretty well on that. And yeah, so these will probably be on the needles next, because that design is actually already written up. It's going to be a 3-in-1 pattern, so you're going to get all 3 designs in one pattern, in one PDF.
because the base is a hat. They're hats. The base hat pattern is the same. It's just the patterning on the hat changes depending on which version you want to knit. So they all start the same essentially. So I thought rather than releasing them as 3 individual patterns, making you guys pay 3 times for them, just do it as one. It's going to be one pattern with 3 designs in it. It just made the most sense. It's also less work for me because I don't have to write up 3 designs, and less printing for anyone who does download the pattern. But then Sam was incredibly generous and brought me a little present, which was totally unnecessary. This is on her superwash merino nylon base. She gave me these 2 skeins of yarn, and as soon as I read the name of the colorway, I was like, well, this is gonna be, this is obviously, I realized it's not a gift for me, it's a gift for Layla. So I haven't shown her these yet, so I'll try and remember to film her reaction when I show them to her this afternoon. So the colorway name is In the Night Garden, which is perfect. It is, and if you are unaware, In the Night Garden is a children's TV show. It's actually by the same people who created the Teletubbies, but I don't think In the Night Garden is as big internationally as Teletubbies is. Yeah, so it's basically an evening, like a bedtime TV show for children, and it's quite calming. It's completely nonsensical, like it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This show is just ridiculous, but it calms her right down. Like, it's so calming. She loves it. We got the set of the cuddly toys of the different characters for Christmas. We're taking her to see the show, the live show in April. Like, she loves this show so much. It's like that and Teletubbies are like her 2 favorite things. Clearly the people who produced those programs knew what they were doing. Yeah, so I think this is going to end up being something for Layla. What I'm thinking of doing is winding these up and holding them double to do her like a cardigan or a jumper or something, because I think that would be really fun, and it will really help like marl the colors together. Because otherwise, if these were knit up as socks, they would do like a micro striping effect based on the dye style, which is lovely and amazing for socks. I love the micro striping effect on socks, but I have a bad feeling that as a garment this might pull. So I think holding it double would actually give a really fun effect as well. And I know at the moment, holding these double, I can get a jumper out of this for her easily. So I think that might be what I do. So there's a thought there as well. Yeah, that's it. I say that's it like that wasn't anything, but I am literally surrounded by mountains of yarn. So it's a little bit ridiculous. I need to go and update my yarn spreadsheet. But to be in fairness though, like it's not like I add yarn to my stash all too frequently. I was talking to people about this. Like when I started knitting, we were living in the Middle East. I didn't have the luxury of just ordering yarn online and having it show up a couple of days later. So I got very used to just using what I had, and I never got into the habit of going online and just ordering yarn because I could. Or if I needed it for a project or something. So I would stock up on yarn at events when I travelled, or when I visited local yarn stores and stuff. So yeah, for me this is like one of maybe 2 or 3 times a year where I really stock up on yarn, specifically as yarn support, because all I knit are designs other than vanilla socks. Pretty much everything I knit is a design. I think last year someone asked me, last year I only knit 1 design that was by someone else, and that was my Rhapsody and Cables pullover by Hohi Locatelli. Absolutely love that jumper, by the way. I highly recommend that pattern. Beautiful and very interesting construction. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I will be back hopefully next week. I'm hoping to be back with a podcast. I'm basically taking the rest of this week as a trying to catch up with life week. Perry gets back on Friday afternoon, and yeah, my voice is quite hoarse. It sounds better today than it did yesterday. Yesterday it sounded really bad. I sounded like I was ill. I was losing my voice, but it's better today, thankfully. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting organised. I've already unpacked my suitcase. I've done my washing. It's hanging up to dry. So I'm ahead of the game there. My mum was very lovely, and she cleaned my kitchen, so I don't have to do much in the way of cleaning. I just have to hoover, which is fine. And then and yeah, I'm just trying to get back to life, really, get back to some sense of normality. I feel like this last month and a half, even like since just before Christmas, everything's just been a bit out of whack. I've not felt like myself, not properly anyway. I've been so stressed, especially in January, and Perry's been so stressed because of his work thing that happened last week as well. So we both had a really like stressful lead up to this trip to New York, and as much as I knew I was going to enjoy myself, I was also very anxious about it, which turned out to be completely unnecessary because it was fine, and I absolutely loved it so much, and I don't know why I was so worried about it. I guess it was the fear of the unknown, the fear of not knowing how it would go, how people would receive it, and how teaching, that is, and things like that. So I guess I can understand why I was nervous, but I'm not usually the kind of person that gets anxiety or that gets like who worries incessantly about something, because I feel like worrying about something isn't really going to change anything, and what will happen. But I don't know why, for some reason this teaching is just apparently seems to have been the one thing that I guess because it was something I never considered that I would be able to do, and by able I mean feel like I was qualified enough to do, you know, like I guess I just didn't feel like I was worthy, and maybe it was just and I know there was a huge sense of like feeling like an imposter, like imposter syndrome when I was there, and just feeling like, you know, someone's made a mistake and I shouldn't be here. But it went really well, and I'm so happy that so many people enjoyed the classes that I taught. I got a lot of like feedback in the class that people really enjoyed it. People went away I hope people went away feeling confident, having learned some new techniques, and especially with the pattern maths class, like the pattern hacking class, so many people as they were leaving saying that they felt like they could now go ahead and like make modifications more confidently, and that was amazing to hear. That was something that I was so worried about, whether or not people would actually get anything out of the class, and so many people said they had, and even before they'd left the room. So I'm so happy to have had that, and I'm so excited to teach again, and especially that class, that pattern maths class. I think if I do teach it again, I'm going to call it pattern hacking, because I feel like that's more accurate for what I was teaching. But I'm so excited to teach that class again, especially. I feel like that's going to be, I really enjoyed that like aha moment when like the penny drops and people just get it and they finally understand, and yeah. Anyway, I feel like I've rabbited on enough for now. I will leave you, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting me over the years. I genuinely, the first time I sat down to record a podcast, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined being where I am now. So, and I have all of you guys to thank for that. If it wasn't for your support, I really wouldn't be where I am now. So, thank you so much. And I'll be back with you guys soon. All right, take care. Bye.